Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2021 NWA Draft. Please welcome your commissioner, Kerry Harry.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a momentous day, the start of the 2021 season. It's going to be a good video, a good afternoon here at the NWA Draft, so we're glad you could join us. We're going to have a first round draft here, consisting of 6 picks, going the Bobcats, the Committee, the Oreos, the Baja Blast, the RDCB, and the Beach Boys. We will have a schedule reveal. We'll go through all the picks and the summaries of each one, so stay tuned. It should be a good video. Without further ado, let's go into the schedule pick, how this is going to work. Each team will play 7 series this year. Each team will play each team once, but you will play one team twice. And we are going to spin the wheel right now and see who each team picks or plays twice. The Bobcats are first, so we will spin the wheel twice and see which 2 teams they will play for the 2021 season. Let's get into it. All right, this will be one of the 2 teams that the Bobcats will play twice during the season, so let's see who it is here.
Oreos.
One of the 2 teams will be the Want Some More Oreos. Who's the second team? They will play the Baja Blast. That will be the second team. So the Bobcats will play the Baja Blast and the Oreos twice this year. Alright, now for the Want Some More Oreos. They will be playing the Bobcats twice. We'll see who else they play twice here. They will be playing the Baja Blast twice as well. So the Baja Blast will play the Bobcats and the Oreos twice, so we don't even have to spin the wheel for them. So let's see who the committee plays. Alright, so after looking into it, these will be the teams that will play each other twice. It actually worked out quite perfectly. That will end it for the schedule pick. We'll go into each team's full schedule. But yeah, that should do it. Without further ado, the Bobcats are now on the clock. Alright, so now we are here with Bruno Fish. The season is now underway. How does it feel to start the season off?
It's great to be back. It's great for another year. Came dressed appropriately tonight, as you can see. Missed the dress code. It's great to be back for another season after last year's kind of weird schedule and everything. It'll be nice to have everything be a bit smoother this year.
Absolutely. So the Bobcats, the first pick in the draft. So let's talk about that. Intro to the new team here. Frank and Nico Griesbauer. We played with them in a tournament a couple years ago. They made it to the championship. They looked really good. They're both baseball backgrounds. What do you think is going to be the biggest key for them to have some first-year success in the league?
Can their baseball background translate to wiffle ball? Because we've obviously seen you can be great at baseball and you can suck at wiffle ball. So that's what's going to be, I think, the biggest thing for me is I think that first month for them is going to tell you a lot about where this franchise is going to go. So I would not be surprised if they finished in the top 3. Would not be surprised if they finished in last place either. Because with these new players, you have no idea how they're gonna translate to wiffle ball. But as you said, though, they did play in that tournament a couple years ago, and they did phenomenally. So I would expect them their skill to translate well.
Yeah, absolutely. They're very athletic. They have the number 1 pick here. So as you can see here with this graphic, the schedule is out for them. They will play the Oreos. And they will play the Baja Blast twice. Oreos obviously didn't have the skill set to make it to the World Series last year, but it's a new year. What do you think it's going to take for the Bobcats to beat the Oreos and the Bajas here early?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see who the Oreos take. So I think they have a lot to be determined for that team. They have a lot to prove still, with all due respect. Then they play the Bajas. That's a bit of a revamped team now with Charlie coming back, John finally getting another co-captain to help him along the way there. So the biggest thing for them playing the Baja is it's going to come down to pitching, I feel like, against them. So can the Bobcats have the pitching to match the great John Satrowski?
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like the pick is actually in for the Bobcats. So before we go to that, who do you think is the best available player for them in this draft?
And the one that stands out the most is obviously Reese Harris. He's a new guy coming into the league for the first time. He's never played in a league quite like this, but he has great background, plays college ball. But then again, you don't know how it's going to translate. But I think he's definitely the safest and best pick, I think, available in the draft.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I would go with John Noel. He's obviously a great pitcher. You've seen that he was carrying the Baja Blast sometimes last year with his pitching, and then his hitting as well is very good. He has some experience in the league. So in our opinion, those are the best 2 available picks. So the pick is in, so let's go right to it and see what it is.
With the first overall pick in the 2021 NWA Draft, the Bobcats select Reese Harris, outfielder, Bonbon University.
Yeah.
So with that, the committee are now on the clock. All right, so with the first pick, the Bobcats select Reese Harris. I think that's honestly the best available pick for them. He's obviously he's in college, so you got the veteranship there. And I've played against him a couple times, and he's a very good bat. His stats, I mean, you can see here, the stats are insane in his other league that he played in, so I think that's a good pick. So for the committee, let's talk about last season. Obviously, they won the World Series 2018 and 2019. Then last year, just kind of a dumpster fire of a year. Patrick couldn't hit at the end. Honestly, the whole offense really couldn't hit. Patrick's pitching was bad at the beginning of the year. Yeah, tough season. What was your take on it?
Yeah, it was not a season they won. Anytime you're playing in the wild card game, I think I've said this before, but nobody wants to play in the wild card series. So, and they were obviously not want to be there. But I think a lot of the players that they had last year, it was simply just not a good year for them. The system did not play into their favor with the 2 strikes. This year will be going to 3 strikes now, so that'll make things a little bit, I think, more in their favor. Patrick's going to have a bounce back here at the plate. You know he is going to. Because whenever a player like that has a slump, they're going to get out of it. Same with our other players on the roster. So it's going to be interesting to see which direction they want to go with this pick. But I would not, be too scared. I would not count them out. But.
Yeah, absolutely. So here actually is the jersey reveal for both teams. I forgot to do the Bobcats one earlier, so there it is. The Bobcats jersey, they are sponsored by the Flatbill Baseball Company. Great company, a lot of awesome stuff. Go check them out. And then the committee sponsored by All Sports Best Podcast, as you can see. 2, I think, clean jerseys.
So I think both of them look good. So let's go into the schedule reveal now for the committee. I mean, they played the Beach Boys in the RDCB twice, so a little bit of a tough schedule there looking into it. But what do you think they're gonna have to do to combat that?
I personally love this for them. Anytime you're playing the best teams in the league, it always makes you better as a person. So I think this is going to make the team a lot better. It'll help them know who they are going into the postseason. They're not going to have any easy games on the schedule, and I think that's going to play into their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. You see the teams that have the tougher schedule in the season usually end up playing better in the postseason. So here we go. Let's go into the best pick available. The pick looks like it is in. Best pick available. What are you thinking here?
There could be any number of players available here. We knew Reese was kind of going to be probably the top player in the draft, but after this, it's just who knows what. So I could see any player going here. Like you said earlier, John Noel. Pardon me. He's obviously one of the better players up there because he's a pitcher, and he obviously is a high-end hitter and only moving up in that. So I would have to say he's the best available player. I'm not sure if the committee is going to go in that direction or not, but he is the best talent of it.
Absolutely. In my opinion, I think James Dobb is a very good talent. Obviously, there's been rumors that he doesn't want to play with the Oreos, and he's unhappy with the organization after last year. Maybe the committee goes there. He's a great power bat. I think he's one of the best hitters in the draft. But we'll see. There's a lot of options here. They go with Dominic or Drew and try to keep that core together that they've always had, maybe try to win another one with them. But we'll see how they go. So the pick is in, so let's go right into that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with the second overall pick in the 2021 NWA Draft, the committee selects Drew Ballman, outfielder. All right, Drew Ballman selected with the second pick, so it looks like they're trying to win another one with their core, maybe trying to test that out for one more year, so maybe see if last year was a fluke. But the Oreos are now on the clock. They got a couple minutes here, so recap of last season for them. I mean, obviously not the way they wanted it to go out. I mean, they battle hard. They were always competitive, but in the end, they just couldn't win enough games. What do you think it's going to take for the Oreos this year to have a bounce back year after a tough 2020 campaign?
Well, last year the Oreos were like the original Oreo. They were plain and not much to them. This year I want to see some mint Oreos. I want to see some peanut butter Oreos. I want to see some pizzazz to this team. Go out, get a good player, get a player like Jongus or maybe James again if they want to go back to that route. They need to get some pizzazz on this team. They need a spark plug. They need somebody to get them moving in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. I think they need to change some things up this year. But who knows? James was probably one of their best hitters last year, so maybe they go back that route. But here's the schedule rule for them. They will play the Bobcats, the new team. They'll play them twice, and they will also play the Baja Blast twice. So 3 teams that keep on cycling there and playing each other. But those are some good teams. I wouldn't count the Bobcats out, and I would definitely not count the Baja Blast out. They're going to be really good this year. But here's the jersey for them. They're keeping the light blue color, also sponsored by Long Ball Licorice. Great company, really good licorice. So I love their jerseys. I think that honestly they have the coolest jerseys. If you look in the comments, you know, a lot of the people thought that they had the coolest uniforms because they got the hats too. Yeah, it should be a fun year for them. I think I would take John Noel in this opinion. You saw, or in my opinion, you saw Michael last year had some accuracy issues, was still really good. But if you got John in there too, you saw with the Baja Blast having John Straussy and John Noel, they were both very good. So maybe having a good secondary pitcher could help them out. But also James, you know, maybe go back that route. So looks like the pick is in. So let's go down to the floor. Wow, you guys picked the Oreos. Okay, all right. Here we go with the 3rd overall pick in the 2021 NWA Draft. The Oreos select John Jongus Noel, outfielder. The Baja Blasts are now on the clock. All right, so the Oreos select John Noel. So that's a little bit of a shock. I thought they were going to take James, but they got a pitcher, they got a secondary one, so we'll see who they decide to start on opening day. They're both really good options. So Baja Blast are now on the clock. We look at the schedule reveal for them. They will play the Bobcats and the Oreos. So 2 teams. Oreos were an expansion team last year, Bobcats expansion team this year. So some younger teams. Baja Blast, in my opinion, have one of the better odds to win the World Series this year, coming back with John and Charlie. But here's also their jerseys. They are sponsored by Flat Bill Baseball. Check them out. They have a lot of awesome gear for all baseball players. So, recap of last season. I thought after Game 1 of the semifinals they were gonna go to the World Series. They were looking good. But what did you think of their last season there?
Well, they need someone to get the big hit in the playoffs for them. They need somebody who can get on base for Charlie and John. It'd be nice to see John have a bounce back year at the plate. I don't know his numbers exactly, but I know they're a little bit below what he would expect of himself. So you know he's going to bounce back in that department. As always, he's probably the best pitcher in the league, if not top 2 all the time. So I think it's going to be interesting for them to see if they're going to go for somebody that can try and get on base, or if they're going to go for another power guy like James. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see which route they go with that.
Yeah, absolutely. In my opinion, if I was picking the best pick available, I'd pick James. I think, like you said, they needed that big hit last year. And John, I would categorize him more as a pitcher than a hitter, just because he doesn't have the baseball experience like Charlie does. I would categorize Charlie as definitely a hitter and definitely not a pitcher.
I think you would tell you that.
Yeah, so he would probably say the same thing. So kind of a good contrast there. But I think if they get one more big bat, Ethan Gunn's also a good option. But I would take James here.
Yeah, I think James would be a good pick, but Ethan Gunn is a guy who can get on base like crazy, and he had that huge home run in the World Series.
Yeah, that walk-off.
I don't remember what game it was, but that was one of the obviously the biggest hit in Beach Boys history. So if they're looking for a guy who can come through big, it would be him.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like the pick is in. So let's go down to the 4th. I really thought the Bajas were going to get no booze there. Or was it for me? I don't know. But here we go with the 4th pick in the NWA Draft. The Baja Blast select James Dobb, outfielder. The RDCB are now on the clock. All right, James Dobb taken by the Baja Blast. I thought that was the best choice for them. I think they needed one more big bat, so they got it there. So Now, the RDCB. What a franchise. They've made it to the World Series every year. Still looking for that first one, though. Here is their schedule reveal. They'll play the committee, so that's honestly that's a fun rivalry right there. So they'll play them twice, and they play the Beach Boys, who they lost in the World Series against last year. So they have a tough schedule as well. But then here's their jerseys. They're sponsored by Bell Bank Mortgage. So it's very thankful for that sponsorship there. So recap of last season. I honestly did not think. Well, at the beginning of the year, I predicted them to win the World Series. Then I think they got off to like a 1-8 start, and I thought, oh man, this might be a little tough for them to come all the way back. But yeah, I mean they played really good down the end. They had Isaac, who is now on the Beach Boys. What do you think it's going to take for them? Zach, obviously the main pitcher now this year. What is it going to take for them to bounce back this year and win a World Series?
Well, obviously you have the new team captain and Jack Shark coming in. So that's going to be interesting to see how Jack does after a year off. But I think this team needs another bat. I would love to see them go after a guy like Nico Dunn, because I think he would look great in RDCB red. He plays their style. He gets big hits in the playoffs, which they need dearly. So if they're a team that wants to go deep, I think they've got to target someone. And maybe he can pitch a little bit too, but if I'm going to RDCB, I wouldn't worry so much about pitching. You got to go for the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for the playoffs, you don't have a secondary pitcher. I mean, it is important to have. It would be nice to have two pitchers, like the Beach Boys had it, Josh and Paul last year. But like you're saying, I think you go for the bat here if you're RGCB, try to get that big hit. So best pick available. You said Ethan Gunn.
Yeah.
Man, that's tough. I really like Johnny though. I think Johnny is just kind of an RGCB for life. We'll see which route they go, but I think either one of those two would be good options there. So
if Johnny gets taken over Ethan, there's gonna be some bloodshed in that house. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I think you might be right there. So
I would not want to be around those two.
Absolutely. So it looks like the pick is in. We'll go down to the floor. All right, with the fifth pick, the 2021 NWA Draft, the RDCB select Ethan Gunn, outfielder. Alright, so Ethan Gunn, taken by the RDCB. He played for the Beach Boys last year. First time he's going to be teaming up with Zach. It's going to be the first year that Johnny wasn't taken in the first round by RDCB. You know, who knows, maybe he gets taken in the second round. But the Beach Boys are now on the clock. Obviously, a good recap for their last season. I mean, they by far was probably the best team we've ever seen. But this year they have Isaac Noel, who is the other starting pitcher in the World Series, along with Paul. So two good team captains there. What did you take away from their last season?
Well, they were obviously the most dominant team we've seen yet. But I don't know if you can even compare last year's team to this year's team, just because it's going to look totally different.
Yeah.
Like David's not there this year. Now you have Isaac. I don't think Josh is going to be back, correct? Yeah, no Josh this year. So they could go with Ethan Jones here. Not sure. I have really no clue who they're going to go with. But it looks like Isaac is going to be their starting pitcher, at least what it sounds like. So they might get someone to be a safety net for him in case his arm goes out or something. But I don't even know if you can compare last year's Beach Boys team to this year's. It's just going to be a totally new look. I would not be surprised if they had the same success.
Yeah.
But it's just totally different players, new jerseys, new everything for them. So
yeah, absolutely. So speaking of which, good transition there. Their jerseys, they got these nice orange ones, sponsored by All Sports Best Podcast. Make sure you go check them out. They're dropping new podcasts. It's a great podcast. I listen to it. I'm a pizza delivery driver. I listen to it all the time during my deliveries, so I definitely would recommend. So yeah, I mean, obviously a great season last year. This year they played the committee and RDCB twice. And you see their schedule here. So then their first matchup will be against RDCB, so a little World Series rematch. But it'll be a little strange because both teams are totally different. You got Ethan, who's on the Beach Boys, who's now on the RDCB. Isaac's now on the Beach Boys. So it's going to be a little bit of a strange kind of a rematch there.
It's a bit of a budding rivalry. I kind of like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd love to see some spice between those two teams.
Yeah, absolutely. So best pick available, in my opinion, you know, on every mock draft I didn't think we were going to get to this point. I thought that Johnny was going to be taken, to be honest. So I think Johnny is probably the best available pick here. I think if you're a coach, I think you really want Johnny on your team. He's just kind of a high energy guy, really wants to win. So if you can hit the ball as far as you can chuck a bat, we'll see how that goes.
Just imagine the raging on that team. Paul, great at raging. Johnny, tremendous. I don't know if we've seen Isaac at his peak yet, but I'm sure he's a lot in it.
Yeah.
So this could be a really fun team to watch every week.
Absolutely.
Lots of strikeouts, hopefully, just for our sake.
Just for the rage.
Just to see the raging.
Absolutely. So the last pick of this video is now in, so we'll go down to the floor to see that.
Boo!
I don't know if that was for me or the Beach Boys, but we'll just say it for the Beach Boys here. Alright, with the final pick of this video, pick number 6 of the 2021 NWA Draft, the Beach Boys select John Paul Gunn, outfielder. Alright, so that will conclude the 2021 NWA Draft, the first round. We videoed second round, we just did off air, but here are the rosters. First, as you can see here, for the Bobcats, they have a good squad there. As you can see, Frank, Nico, Reese, and Ethan DeWald, all new. They're all rookies. I didn't notice that until about just now. They've got a full rookie team. They will be adding another player. It might be on the screen by now, but 2 players, sadly, the Lemons have retired from the league.
Michigan.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be back, but we'll see. But yeah, they might have a new player by now, but right now they have 4. For the committee, wow. Off air, some crazy stuff in the second round went down, but the roster is Patrick Ballman, Zach Cleaver, Olivia Andrew Ballman, and Ethan Hunty. So nice 5-man lineup there. And then next you got the Oreos. They have a pretty nice team as well with the Dobb brothers leading the charge there. And we got John Noel, Thomas Satrowski, and Frank Cortese. So the same exact team except John Noel instead of James. So we'll see if that works out for them. The Baja Blast, they probably came out with the best draft tonight. They had John Satrowski, Charlie Sharp, James Dobb, Will Hannigan, Aiden Benedict. So honestly, probably the best draft of the night. All right, then the RDCB, they have Zach Gunn, Jack Shark, Dominic Satrowski, and Ethan Gunn. And then obviously also they don't have the 5th player locked in yet. They might by the time this video comes out, but that's their 4 there for now. And then the Beach Boys, the World Series champions, Paul, Isaac, Johnny Gunn, Ethan Jones, and Sean Deneen. So, wow, what a draft. I mean, the whole league is just completely flipped. Usually every year the same teams maybe switch 1 or 2 players, but the rosters for every team almost are completely different.
Yeah, everything was put into an egg blender, and 30 minutes later we have this. So
Yeah.
who knows what the heck is it going to look like. It's going to be a crazy year.
So the opening day matchups, so we will show the full team schedules while the clock was going. But the opening day matchups right now, these are the 3 options for the first game of the year. The Oreos versus the Bobcats, the RDCB versus the Beach Boys, the World Series matchup there, and the committee versus the Baja Blast. All 3 of those matchups are going to be fun to watch. What do you think about those?
It's going to be a blast. I'm excited. I'm excited for the World Series rematch because now we have a couple players swapped. I'm
Yeah.
totally blanking on their names right now.
Yeah,
But
Ethan
Isaac,
and Johnny.
yeah, Ethan
Even
and Johnny, and then Isaac goes over to the Beach Boys. Those teams are all screwed up.
Yeah.
That's going to be really fun to see them on opposite colors.
Yeah, absolutely. The merch store is now officially open. As you can see here, we got a lot of options. You got hoodies, t-shirts, player jerseys, socks are new this year. Definitely going to cop some of those. So check those out. The prices are pretty cheap. I think $19.99 for the Chapter 4 shirt, which is a really nice shirt. Has all the team logos on it for this upcoming season. Yeah, so thank you guys very much for watching. This has been a very entertaining draft. Just watching it here up front. So next video will be the spring training video. We'll be playing at Bowman Yards this year. That will be probably out after this video in a week or 2. We'll keep you updated on our Instagram at NWA Wiffle. You can check out our merch shop. The link will be in the description for the playlist of last season as well. So a lot of good stuff coming up here. So the season is officially beginning right now. Hope you guys join along through the season. If you're new here, this is the perfect video to start. You know, all the teams now, spring training is going to be fun. So thank you guys very much for watching. Bruno, it was a pleasure and an honor. We'll see you guys in spring training video. Thank you.
It's cool.